Well, can you believe what I got here? This is a big old beast that I've been wanting to get for a long time. This is it's hard to see here. It's a handy gas plant. This is a model 457G, and it is a beast. It is designed for it was originally designed for like heating in like milk rooms on farms and stuff like that, as a way to provide a lot of BTUs without a whole lot of effort, right? So, enormous fuel tank. I think this is a 35,000 BTU unit, so it puts out a lot of heat. And I just got it the other day, and it's pretty interesting, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can get the thing to light right up. I know that other people say, oh, you should check your generator, you should do this, that, the other thing. I'm like, if I put air pressure in it and I hear air come out and I don't hear air coming out in the places where it shouldn't, hey, I'm all for just giving it a shot and see what I can do. However, what I want to do is that the burner on here is composed of a bunch of slits, and you can see them there. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and see if I can't clean those out. So I haven't done anything with this in terms of any kind of break-free oil or anything, but we're just going to see. Oh yeah, that's loose. That's good. That comes out nice and loose. Easy. And get it in the, well, gotta wear my eyeballs. Put this in here and see if the last one comes out. And it's loose. So, okay, so this is gonna be great. So we're gonna go ahead and just pull this top grate off and run some razor blades through the slots. So you're probably wondering, when are you filming this? Well, actually, I'm filming this on January, I believe it's the 28th. Let me see here. Yeah, 28th. It is a beautiful day here in Texas. It's about 60 degrees outside, clear blue sky in all directions, and just gorgeous weather out here. And this is the time of year I really love living here. So yeah, I enjoy it. Got the doors open, and it's just really nice. So anyway, get this big grate off like that. And yeah, that's the other thing too. It's a little interesting. The G models indicate that they had a grate on them, so obviously this has a grate, so it's a G model. The other thing about this one that's interesting also is that not all of them came with this right here. This is basically on there to provide more support and strength for this. Otherwise, all it did was it just rode on that piece of pipe right there, and that was it. And this has an extra collar that sits on the tank, so that way, if you wanted to put something that was heavy on top, you actually could. So that would be, that's pretty nice. So you don't see those very often, although they are out there. But anyways, that's the deal with that. So I'm going to, let's see if I've got a thin enough blade that goes through these slots. And it almost seems like there may be some lead in here or something like that. But because sometimes people use these as a furnace for melting lead and stuff like that. So looks like there may be a couple of spots where some lead may have dropped down into the burner, but we should be able to get all that cleared out. Yeah, I can definitely. Let's see if I push this way. See if I get a little curl of lead to come out. Because it definitely looks. It's a soft metal, so yeah. I'm pretty sure, yep, that's definitely lead that's in there. So yeah, they use these for heating lead. In fact, you can peel this right here, which is actually a piece of lead that was attached to the screws. So obviously someone at some point had splashed some lead inside of here. The blade that I've got here is not super fine, so I may have to kind of give up on this because I don't have a razor blade. These are utility blades, and they're much thicker. So we'll probably just kind of do what I normally do, which is the damn the torpedoes full speed ahead approach. So I think what I'll do, yeah, we'll put this back on, because if we need to cook any of this stuff off of here, we'll do that too. So we'll just do that. But yeah, this will go back together really easy. But I don't want to sit there and bore you with slot cleaning on this thing, but we'll see if it works. I do know that it was shipped to me, and it had a little bit of fuel in the tank, which was a little bit kind of surprising. So I was like, wow, not really what I want to see. But thankfully it didn't get stopped in shipment because someone smelled gasoline leaking out of it. But anyway, that's how it kind of came to me. And it is dirty. I haven't cleaned it, but again, like I said, I'm just kind of like, let's just run it. Let's see what happens. We'll put some air pressure in it and see if we hear any leaks. I don't think there is going to be any, because it's actually, even though it's like the paint's a little bit dinged up, it's in pretty nice shape. And so I think we'll be in a good spot here shortly. One thing I don't have for it is a pump. I've got a pump that I use for my Coleman quick lights and stuff like that, but that's a pretty small pump. This tank is enormous, and there's really using one of those little tiny pumps to pump this up would take like a month of Sundays. And I also really don't feel like putting in, like, I don't know, 4 gallons of gasoline to this. No, it's probably not 4, it's probably 2. I don't feel like putting all that fuel in there. And because, I mean, let's face it, I'm not going to be using this to like heat my shop, although it could. But I don't want to put a whole lot of fuel in there to just only have to pour it back out again. Come on. Kind of sitting here fighting me on this. Of course, the very last screw is the one that doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do.
6.5 hours later.
There we go, finally. Holy cow. All right, so now what we need to do, there is a little splash of fuel in there, and I don't think that's enough to make anything work. But what we're going to do is that we're going to apply some pressure to this before we get any fuel in it, and make sure we get air that goes through it. So huge fill cap, and yeah, it's holding pressure because I just heard it release a little bit. But yeah, a great big huge fuel cap and a regular kind of conventional filler. So we're going to go ahead and smack that down, open that up. And this has got a fuel gauge on, not fuel gauge, but a pressure gauge on it. And so they say to fill these to 20 to 25 PSI. So that's what we're going to do the easy way. Okay, this tends to hiss, so I'm going to get rid of that so I don't hear it. We're just going to kind of give it a listen. Yeah, and it's totally quiet. So these have 2 valves on them. It's got this, the instant light system here, which you turn this a quarter turn to the left to start. So that is the fuel air thing. And then you've got the generator valve, which is right there. So basically you turn that to that quarter turn there, and it has a stop that stops it. So you don't even have to think about it. You just basically go until it stops. And then you open this and you listen for the hiss. Which, there it is. So, yeah, that is definitely not a problem there at all. One other thing to kind of call out that's kind of neat, it does have a preheater cup for very, very cold conditions, and that's this right here. And you can fill that with gasoline, and it'll preheat that generator and get it going. So now what we're going to do, we're going to dump this pressure. And we're going to pour some fuel in. And it really does smell like Coleman fuel. It smelled before like it wasn't when I first got it, because it's shipped with the valve partially open, and Yeah, that didn't smell too good. So I think I'm going to do, I'm going to be pouring out of this tank here, which you may recall from the other video. And I think what I want to do is I want to make sure that I actually filter this fuel before it goes in. So we're going to do that this way. And hopefully there's enough in here to wet the bottom of this big monster so we can actually see if it'll light off. I may want to actually put it in here first, just because it's probably less likely to spill. Yeah, this is one of those cases where you could use a very large size. Okay, so that's probably half a liter of fuel that's in there right now. Hopefully that's enough to hit the bottom of the pickup so we can actually suck up some fuel and get started. Gonna wipe up our little bit of a spill we had here. Get rid of that. Get that in here. And we're gonna cap this up. And now we're gonna see what happens. So get that cranked down tight on there. Open this up. Get my air chuck again. Fill up to 25 psi. Check valve works fine in it too, so that's pretty amazing. So yeah, here we are. Let's see what happens. Guess I'm gonna turn this around this way. Get this out of the way. I've already got that open. I should have checked that before I filled up with air pressure, but the generator was closed, so we didn't have any excessive leaking. So quarter turn there. Open this. Oh yeah. She's ready to go right now. Yeah, I can see how some of those slots are going to need to be kind of cooked out a little bit, but we're going to let this roll a little bit, get nice and hot before we turn it up any higher. Looking not too bad. Maybe a little bit more and see what happens. So I still have it in the start position, so it has the fuel and air mixture going in there. So that's why we're probably getting some of this pulsing that's going on. And because I want that generator to heat up fully before we kick it over. And it's looking pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and try it. So I gotta push this down and basically open it up all the way. I think I'm gonna back that down some. Well, let's see what happens. Certainly getting plenty of fire out of it. There is a little thing in the bottom here. Oh yeah, I see. I can see there's a bit of fuel. There's a damper for an air intake, so I'm just basically moving that to the side so I can get more air coming in. So it's looking pretty good. It takes a moment for the generator to kind of catch up a little bit once you turn the heat up to it. But yeah, it takes Yeah, it's gonna need a little bit more care. But yeah, this was just basically like, hey, will it actually light and run, and will it actually go and do what it does, without doing anything to it other than putting fuel in it? And there it is. So it's running, but I think my next step will be that I have to definitely clean out the slots that are in the burner head, and probably let's see what else we need to do. Yeah, I think that once we do that, that'll probably help out quite a bit. I think the generator is fine, but I can see like underneath the generator, the slots aren't working really well. I could probably even throw this in my electrolysis tank and electrolytically remove the rust, which that might not be a bad idea also. But yeah, it's just still kind of running a bit rich, but the flames are pretty awesome when it's running like it's supposed to. I mean, that is really pretty cool. And the amount of heat coming out of this thing is pretty much ridiculous. So this is another project for us, so we'll see. I mean, she's not running perfect, but she's running all right. And but once we get it going, it'll definitely work really, really well. So that is it. So we're going to go ahead and set this back up over here and kind of enjoy the flame a little bit. But boy, that is really pretty cool. It's settling down now a little bit. Let me see if we can turn it up some, if it'll respond. Because I have heard of people say it does take a moment for the generator to kind of catch up. But yeah, I just don't think we're getting quite enough heat underneath the generator, because those slots just aren't enough to keep it hot with the amount of fuel going in. You can see like on this side over here, there's just not really, there's not any flame coming out of them at all. But yep, that is it. So thanks for watching, and there'll be more on this old beast here. We'll definitely do more with it. So until next time, keep them lit.